All right, here we go. On the left side, the first thing you do is design it. So click design. All right, at this screen, we're going to use one we haven't used yet. It's called canvas. So click and drag a canvas onto your phone screen. Canvas is kind of like if you have things moving around, which you can have things move around. If you're drawing, you're gonna want to use canvas. So what I want you to do is put it right in the corner, way up here, and then drag it down, not all the way to the very bottom, but probably about, because we're gonna put some stuff below it where we can change colors and different things. So make your canvas fit across the screen like that. Very good. Now, over here on the side it says button. We're going to use some buttons. Drag and drop a button underneath your canvas. Put it down just about right here somewhere. And on the button ID, this is important that we do name this stuff. Button ID, put red button. Or I'm going to do red. If you wanted to do a different color, that's fine. If you're like, oh, I want to do like aqua or I don't know, something else. The button text, I'm going to put red. The background color on my button, I'm going to change it to red. There's so many variations of red, so I can't say like pick this certain red because there's a lot of different reds. If there's a color you want that's not like a certain name, like it doesn't really have a name, I don't know, then you can just put like, rather than any text right here, you can just get rid of the text. Does that make sense? So it'll just like, they can click on the color. So if you want, you can get rid of the text. Even if it's red, you decide, hey, you know what? It'll just be kind of like a little color thing that they're going to pick from. Okay. If you want to go find your own color, so drag another one in, add another button next to it. And you can resize these. You're going to have 3 in a row. So go ahead and add 2 other. If you want to get rid of the border color around your button, you just click where it says border width, change it to 0. And add in. So you should have a canvas and 3 buttons. And I'm getting rid of the border around all my buttons by changing this to 0. Spread them out so they look evenly spread. We're going to have some stuff underneath the buttons as well, so make sure you leave some room down here. So I didn't think about this, but on the button names, so I'm going to go back to my red button. I named it red button. Well, if you're deciding, I just want it to be some sort of random color. I don't really know the name of it. It's kind of a greenish. You can just put button 1 if you want. And then on the other one, button 2, button 3. So we don't necessarily have to change these. I didn't think about that. But we are going to have one other button that's not a color. The idea, I guess, is that the user will be able to click on a color and be able to draw on the screen. But it's always a good idea to make it so that they can clear the screen off. So drag in another button right below everything. On the button ID on this one, please put clear button so we know for sure what that one does. Button text, I'm going to put clear, or it could say erase or clear screen, or let's put in clear. And style that up how you want. If you want to change the font family, if you want to change the font size, if you want to change the font color, all that stuff, go ahead and do that right now. Alright, so you have 3 color buttons and you have a clear button. It clears the screen off. Right here, I left this room open for a reason. You're going to add in a slider. So everybody drag this over. Slider. Drag one of these right there. If you want to put it up a little higher. And if you look at all the properties on the slider, it's got some things you can mess with, like the width, the height, position, the value, the minimum value, the max value. So by default, it starts at 50. So the slider sits right at 50 when you start the app. But it goes from 0 to 100. So what this will be is that if they want to make the line thicker as they're drawing, they can slide this up and down. Now I don't really know if 100 is too big, because sometimes if you make it too big, it'll, like, one swipe will cover the whole screen, right? So we may have to come back and mess with this a little bit. So let's just leave that alone for now, but know that we can adjust this slider if we need to. Okay. That's it on designing. We have a canvas, we have 3 buttons, we have clear, and we have a slider. So make sure you have that. I'm just going to walk around just for a sec. So let's code this thing. So everybody go to code. And by the way, we only have one screen so far. That's all we're doing on this one. At code. You see one that says canvas. We have a canvas. Click canvas. Okay, now you're going to see some stuff that we're going to use in Canvas for this project. Now, the first thing you want to do when you're messing with the canvas is to turn it on, essentially. So I'm going to do set active canvas, and I'm going to drag and drop this in there. And on the ID, we only have one canvas. So canvas 1. Now we've got some buttons that we need to code, right? We've got 4 buttons that we need to code and this slider. So you remember how to code a button? What do you do? We've used this before. Right. UI controls. The very top one, it says on event. This is how you make a button do something. Like if you click it, do this. So drag that one in. All right, before we actually code the buttons, this part is a little bit different. And just bear with me just for a sec. Where it says ID, go to change it to canvas 1. And we don't want when they click. This time we want when they mouse move. So right here, this drop down arrow, mouse move. So when they drag their finger around, it's doing something on the canvas. So we're going to use an if statement on this. So if you go to control, the third one down says if, drag and snap it inside of there. So I haven't figured yet how to make it so that they could just hold the mouse down and draw. So this is kind of my little workaround that I found. So if you're able to figure it out, let me know. Because right now they can't just click and draw. They have to hold down the shift button. And this is how you make it work. Right here, if you would type with me, if event dot shift key, just like that, all lowercase, if, just type it with me, event dot shift key. So if that shift key is held down, then do something. Draw a circle. To get to the circle, you go back to canvas, and the fourth one down says circle. Drag and snap that in. Oh, mine's freaking out. Press run. Anything happening? Nothing yet. It's always a good idea if like you're coding to run it every once in a while and just like see if something's working. I did get this red error and it says, oops, we can't figure out what event is. Perhaps you meant the string event with quotes. So let's keep going on. I'll show you what it's doing. Oh, oops. On the shift key right here, that should be a capital K, not a lowercase k. That should be a capital K. Shift key. Okay. Right here it says 160, 225. This is all about positioning of the circle. So what I want you to do now, right here, again, type event dot offset x. Event dot offset x. Capital X, yeah, thank you. Capital X. Click in this box. Do the same thing. Event dot offset y. The moment you click away, it kind of sinks it in. So if you mess it up, you can get rid of it. So you have offset x, offset y. Last thing right here. Come over here to UI controls. We're going to make our slider work. So to make that work, right here it says get number. Drag and snap that one in wherever the 100 is, right over here. Like way over here. So again, let me show you one more time. It says get number. Drag and snap it right there, 100. And change the ID to be your slider 1. Alright? Oh, okay. I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm like, this should be working. I see what's wrong. Right here. Everybody click right in that little bit. Type event. Make sure there's no spaces. Event. All lowercase. Now run that and see if that's. Hold down shift. See it, what it's doing now? It is working. Really big. So none of the buttons are working. Reset and run it again. Try moving your slider down a little bit. You see how the slider is working? So would you say 50 is too big on this? I would say so. Like if they went all the way to 100, it would cover their screen in like 2 brush strokes. So I'm going to leave my code up here. Double check your code. I did go over a lot. There was a lot of stuff that I just had to figure out. If you ever run into a problem and things just seem right, like you typed everything just right, try pressing refresh. Sometimes that will kind of kick it in the butt and it'll start working. Make sure small things will be an error, like if you left quotations around something or if you didn't capitalize. Anyway, go back to right here, UI controls. Let's make it so the buttons work. Everybody with me? Drag in an on event. Where it says ID, I'm going to program my button 1. So everybody do their first button. That when they click it, it changes the color. So if I go back to Canvas, there's a thing that says set fill color. Drag and snap that in. And what fill color do I want? Well, you may have to go back to your design and click on your button and get that exact color. If you click on it, it'll show you, oh, this is your exact color. And I can copy that, Command C, and go back to my code, and I can just paste it. I can just paste it right in here. And press run.
Oh my god!
Still acting weird. We'll fix that in a sec.
That is weird, but awesome. How do you do that? Oh,
This is how you get rid of that black outline, because I don't want that. Does anybody know? Can you, looking at this? Have you heard of stroke color? So everybody drag in set stroke color and change it from black to the exact same color. And now when you run it, it should be like one solid color. So now that you've done one, do the other colors. Do your other 2 colors. So make sure you get rid of the black border around your color. So the way you do that, the set stroke color needs to be the exact same color as your fill color. Okay, some of the mistakes that I have seen is you forgot to put the number sign or you forgot the quotation marks. They've got to be in there, otherwise it won't work. So make sure you have those in there. Remember, set fill color, set stroke color, and I found this color by going to my design, clicking on my button, and getting my color. To code the other one, same thing. You drag another on event. This time I'm doing my button 2. Set fill color. I'm just going to drag the other one in now. Set stroke color. And I'm going to go get this green right there. Copy, Command C,
Look at that. That is amazing.
paste it in here. Command V. Make sure those quotations are around it. Run that. And do the third one. On event. Button 3. Set fill color, set stroke color. And I want that orange. Copy it. Paste it. Make sure that's working. Okay, if you haven't already, adjust your slider so that it's not so intense. Not doesn't go from 0 to 100, but make it go from like 0 to like, or maybe a 1, starting at 1 to like 75 or 50 or something. So I'm gonna go back to my design and click on my slider.
I put mine 125.
Okay, that makes sense. 1, because you want them to at least have 1. And up to what?
25.
You did 25? I'll go 40. I don't really know. And the max the value, you want it in the middle, so I'll change that to 20.
I'm so confused.
So now when they slide this up,
What is going on?
at 20 or 40 is pretty high still. You'll notice how it skips if you go too far, if you don't move it really slow. I don't know how to solve that yet. Anyway. Okay. Last thing. The clear button. Has everybody figured it out? Raise your hand if you figured it out. Very good. Pretty easy, right? You go to UI controls, drag in another on event. If you want to know how to code the clear button, pay attention. It's real easy. You drag in another on event right here. You change the ID to the clear button, and then you go to canvas. There's a button that says clear canvas. You just drag that in. That's all you have to do. Clear. Make sure everything's working to get full points on this. Done. Everything looks good. Double check it. Make sure everything looks good, and I'll grade it next time. Try adding some stuff to it now. Adding more buttons. Try changing it up. Maybe adding an image in here. I've seen people even add a color picker wheel that you can actually pick a color. But as long as you're working on it, you will get credit. Thank you.